On today's Glory Days show, the NFL playoffs are in full swing. We'll talk about last weekend's wildcard games and preview this weekend's divisional playoff games.
But why listen to us pontificate about the NFL? Rocky Cleaver, a real football player, will join us in the discussion.
We're also bringing in our correspondents from Seattle and New England to get a little local flavor as the locals gear up for playoff games in their divisional rounds.
And in our Did You Hear About segment, we've got stories about a Knick fan who's suing Madison Square Garden for being ejected about saying nasty things about Carmelo Anthony. And why is the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals football team buying land in Los Angeles to build a football stadium? These stories and more on today's Glory Day show coming up right now.
EatRadio.com.
I want to hear more of that new music.
That sounded pretty good.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, January 10th, 2015. You are watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani, and this is my good friend Bruce Oler.
Morning, Disco.
And Kyle Melnick, Bonnie Schultz, and about 7 other people are behind the glass today.
Chuck is back there, too.
And you're joining us on the Enravio.com TV network, broadcasting to the world from the Enravio studios right here in the Village Music Shoppy, beautiful Mastic, Long Island, in the great state of New York.
Cold Mastic, Long Island this morning, man.
Has it been cold? How much do you want to go down to Florida and live?
Well, any place is better than here right now, I think, you know?
You know, I mean, I always used to make fun of the people. There was a guy who lived across the street from me, Mr. Olson. He was what we used to call a snowbird.
Uh-huh.
And November 1st or December 1st, he would leave, and we wouldn't see him till April. I wish I was Mr. Olson. I just, you know, I guess we kind of got a little jaded here in New York because while places like Buffalo were getting buried with 7 feet of snow, we didn't get anything.
Yeah, but it's nothing like last year. I mean, you think about how cold it was last year, you know. It's a little cold right now.
Well, you know what? As cold as it is out there,
Yeah.
it's nice here in the Enravio studios.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sweating anymore, so that's always a good thing.
That's right. That's right.
But anyway.
But the NFL is heating up.
Right.
So we should talk about the NFL playoffs, right?
But before we get to that,
Okay.
our good friend, the big man, Greg Higgins, had a snide remark on the Glory Days Facebook page about a story that we posted saying that we were going to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Which story was that?
A story about the Knick fan.
Okay.
And he says, with all the things that are going on this week,
And
that's
a lot
the
did.
story that we decided to pick. Well, I'm going to tell you everything that we're not going to do today.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess we'll say right now, touche Higgins. Okay.
You know what? It's only an hour show.
Yeah. I know. Well,
You know? And the big story, of course, this week is the NFL, and it'll probably be the same thing next week, and there'll be some downtime. But man, what a week in sports this week. Tuesday night is the college football final between Oregon and Ohio State. Who wins?
I think it's going to be Oregon.
Okay. Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, Long Island native Craig Biggio make the Hall of Fame. Mike Piazza did not.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about that, but we need some time to talk
That's right. That's not a 5-minute conversation.
Okay. The NFL, remember the Ray Rice thing?
Yes.
Well, the NFL was going to be investigated to see what they knew, what they didn't know. Apparently, they never saw the video, but they did everything else wrong.
I think they timed it right because they took the heat off of them blowing the call with the Dallas game last week.
Which we will talk about. The Jets search for a head coach. Looks like they may have settled on the guy from Seattle. Right?
We'll see.
The Giants fire their defensive coordinator. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has a bromance with Jerry Jones. But I guess we'll talk a little bit about that. The Knicks losing a franchise record 14 straight games.
Yep. And dumping players.
Yeah, and the admittingly gay football player Mike Sam, he got engaged.
He did?
Yes. And if you're an Islander fan, you know who J.P. Parisi is. You might not know he's dead.
Yeah.
So those are the type of things that we're not talking about.
Okay.
But let's see what we
But
will
the NFL is pretty topical.
Right. I mean, the NFL playoffs are underway. The race for Super Bowl XLIX. What's XLIX?
IX 49, I guess.
49, that's
Okay.
exactly right. Began last week with the wild card games, with 2 of the top seeds from each conference getting a bye and the week off. The other 2 division winners in each conference played the 2 wild cards. And they set up, of course, the divisional games this week. On our phone is not only a good friend of the show, but a former football player who actually played in an NFL playoff game with the Jets, including a 35-15 win in Kansas City in 1986,
Okay.
followed by that terrible 23-20 double overtime loss to
yeah.
Cleveland the following week. Did you know that Dave Jennings punted 14 times in that game? That's an NFL record.
Shows they weren't too effective on offense, I guess.
No. Anyway, please welcome to the program a member of the Alaskan High School Football Hall of Fame, Rocky Cleaver.
Rocky.
Hey, Rocky, how are you?
What? Hey, good. What's happening, guys?
All right.
How you been? Happy New Year.
I've been good.
Hey, you know, you were active in that Cleveland game, but you didn't catch a pass. Did you get into some of the plays?
What do you mean, did I get into some of the plays? I was the star of that game.
Well, I don't know. I read the box score.
Wow. Well, that's the
But
bad
there
thing
are-
about the internet.
Right.
I used to be able to say I was the star and people would believe me. Now you guys look it up.
Well, you know what? There are things that don't show up in the box score.
Well, and we asked you if you would have been a good fantasy player in your day, and I think you answered no. So,
Well, I did look it up, and I don't know how they figured this. I think I had in my whole career, I had like 69 fantasy points.
69. Okay. Okay. That's not
but-
bad.
Said at Cleveland, I don't really remember this, but I mean, we went 2 tight ends a lot because Freeman McNeil was basically our only running back.
Right.
And he did get hurt at the end of the game. That's what hurt us the most.
Right. I mean,
And all we had was Tony Page. And I do remember one of the coaches asked me if I still remembered the offensive running back plays, because there was a chance, you know, it never got there, obviously, and that's why I say we lost, because we had Tony Page and then we had kind of nothing else. So that's why we had to punt. And I was on punt team too, so I probably
Okay.
played more plays than most of the offensive guys.
14 punts, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, the thing that we were watching the game in an adult establishment at the time, and as the game went on, things started getting very fuzzy. So I actually had to go back and I read
Disco,
the
we were in a
games.
bar. We weren't in an adult entertainment place.
Well, I
I mean,
guess
you know,
that's
let's
true.
set the record
There
straight
were
here.
no polls
Okay.
in the place where we were. But, you know, what I didn't remember was that the Jets led 20-10
Yeah.
with about 4 minutes left to go. And
Yeah.
one of the big key plays, Cleveland was inside their own 15-yard line.
Were these the cardiac kids, by the way?
Yes,
Okay.
there's still Bernie Kosar. So they were inside their own 15-yard line. And Mark Gastineau, our pal,
Oh yeah, yeah. Right. He got some kind of penalty, didn't he?
yeah, he got a very bad roughing the passer penalty, which was completely unnecessary.
Yep.
Do you remember that, Rocky?
Yes. But, I mean, you can't blame it all on Mark.
No,
It was
not.
that penalty. But I think one of our DBs at the end of the game had a penalty similar to that.
Yes.
Carl Howard had a bad penalty. And really, you know, when you say that the score was whatever it was, and with 4 minutes left, I mean, regardless, we still should have won that game.
That's
I mean,
right.
we should have been able to win that game in Cleveland, in the cold, with whatever we had, and we just didn't do it, you know?
I mean, you guys, they did an onside kick.
Yeah.
And the Jets recovered the onside kick. But they got 3 plays, they got -3 yards. And I guess that's what you're talking about when Freeman McNeil was not
Out.
in the game.
Yeah.
And that really hurt things. What are you going to do? You're not going to pass the ball. You don't want to take a chance of an incomplete pass.
The interesting thing about this game, though, is that there were a couple of calls that really penalties that affected the outcome of the game, at least in your opinion, you know. And then we look at the game last weekend with Dallas, where Dallas gets flagged, and then they pick up the flag, and like nothing ever happened.
Had you ever seen anything like that, Ron?
Well, no, but you know, with the new rules, that wouldn't have been a penalty, you know, even a couple years ago, I don't think. They were just kind of hitting each other, and then the ball did hit the defender in the back.
Right.
And he wasn't really, you know, there's no face guarding in the NFL, but at least now there isn't. But
I always thought there was.
I don't think it was a penalty, really. I mean,
but they show it like during that play. He's also grabbing his jersey, and he should have called for holding too. So I mean, they throw the flag and then they just pick it up. I mean, that's highly unusual.
No, I agree. You know? I agree. But was the offensive player kind of pushing too a little bit? Like it used to be, if one guy's grabbing and one guy's pushing, that you just had to get open if you were the receiver. Like if you can't get open because somebody's, you know, grabbing you a little bit, you suck.
Yeah.
You know, like. Al Toon would have had 200 catches a year with these rules. Mickey Shue was, you know, because Mickey could run good patterns. He just wasn't as big as some guys. But he could get off the line. If you can release off the line now and you don't get open, you might as well be a defensive tackle.
Hey, did you have anything specific you wanted to talk about today, or you want to just talk about the football games themselves?
Well, we could talk about my ex-wife if you really want to, you know.
I'd leave that up to you.
I don't think I have an opinion about her.
She's still harassing me, and I think I'm going to go to my grave with her harassing me. No, I just, you know, we like the Jets and the quarterback thing.
Right.
I mean, Geno Smith is okay. So I just think in the draft, if you can't get somebody that you know is at least better than Geno, then get other players. Like, you need a lot of players to be good in the NFL.
Right.
If you need a corner and there's a good corner available and you've got to make a stretch to try to get a quarterback that you don't think is as good as Jameis Winston, then don't do it. Like, get guys you need and give coaches and GMs 3 or 4 years to actually have a good team that's going to be good for 10 years, not just 1 or 2, you know?
Right. Do you think, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to talk to Marty at all. I know he hasn't been let go yet. Right? They haven't released anybody other than Rex and Idzig. Does he think he's going to stay, or is he planning on looking for other things?
Well, all I know is at the end of my last season, I packed everything up as if I was never coming back. And then in July, they said, oh, you can either retire or we cut you. So I said, cut me.
Yeah.
So from, you know, January to July, I was moved out and knowing I was not coming back. So I can't think Marty would think he's coming back.
Well,
you
one
know,
of the things...
I mean,
go ahead.
a GM could never hire a coach and say, you have to keep Marty Morningwig.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, you wouldn't want to keep Kubiak. I mean, you wouldn't say you have to keep whoever the best offensive coordinator in the NFL is, you know?
Well, in today's Post, they're reporting that Seattle defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is like, he's, I guess, probably the top pick for head coach. But they also said that he's already reached out to Kyle Shanahan saying, if I go as a head coach someplace, you're going to be my offensive coordinator. So that's an interesting play on things,
here's
too.
the good play. If you guys really want to find out who's going to be whom at the Jets, you know, you should find out who the head coach is going to be. Then you go back and Google every place they coached.
Yeah.
Now, I believe one of the Shanahans was at Northern Arizona University. Morningwig was at Northern Arizona University. So even going back 20 years to where a guy was a GA, he may end up being a defensive coordinator with a head coach who worked with him when they were 25 years old.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. I mean, personally, if I'm the GM and I hear a coach say, oh, I'm reaching out to Shanahan, the kid, to be my offensive coordinator, I would say I don't like that guy. I mean, has Shanahan, the kid, ever really done anything?
No.
I don't think so.
Not yet. We don't know. He hasn't been out long enough.
Didn't he kind of screw up RG3 or no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I just don't know. I'm surprised that they're even considering going back to a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean,
when your offense needs so much.
The picture on the back of the post, he looks like Rex Ryan, this guy, except he's got a hat on, you know? So, I don't know. I don't understand it. Well, I mean, the Jets are trying to be methodical about it. They brought in some consultants, and, you know, they got to be careful about who they pick first and things like that. I do wonder about Rex Ryan, and, you know, what, Bradway was the GM?
Bradway was the GM, yeah.
I mean, so what was that, a package
Bradway,
deal
yeah.
too, or not?
Yeah. All right, you know
Well,
what?
I know Bradway pretty well, but you know he's a good personnel guy and all that. And half the thing is you got to be kind of lucky with who you pick and how he works out and who you pick as a quarterback. I mean, look, first-round quarterbacks, there's more bad ones than there are good ones.
Right.
I mean, I hate to use the word luck is in the same way as Andrew Luck, but
Yep.
those guys were lucky to get him.
You know why? By the way,
mean,
remember they were saying suck for luck.
Yeah.
This year they were saying suck for the duck.
But again, I trust a couple guys. Who was the commentator that was The Bachelor? You know, Jesse Palmer. I think he knows what he's talking about. Like I said, Ron Jaworski knows what he's talking about.
Right.
There's a couple guys that know what they're talking about. Jesse Palmer says that Jameson Winston is the best quarterback coming out, and Colin Cowherd has some information that he's a very smart quarterback, like a good football brain. He just has made some immature mistakes off the field.
Right.
Now, I would almost guarantee that Lovie Smith is going to take the Winston kid the first pick.
Really? Interesting.
I mean, it's everything is a positive with that. You know, going to even the racial African American head coach,
Yeah.
African American quarterback.
Right.
He's immature. Lovie Smith is kind of like that dad figure.
Right.
He can discipline. It's a great setup. He's got a little bit of time. Then they say bad things about the Mariota kid, that, you know, he's part of that whole Chip Kelly offense, and they don't know really if he's going to be a great quarterback. I mean, it is a risk.
Like you say, it's a luck of the draw is what it comes down to, you know?
Hey, listen, you got some time for us next week?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna because we're getting a cut signal here. Let's pick this up next week after the divisional games, and we could keep
sounds
going.
good.
All right, man.
Good talking to you,
All
Rocky.
right, I'll talk to
Hey,
you guys
Rocky.
later.
Hey,
Right.
Rock. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
That's our good pal, Rocky Cleaver. We are just getting started here on the Glory Day Show. Take a break. When we come back, we'll take a more detailed look at two of this weekend's divisional games. We'll talk to Greg Kohler from Seattle, and we'll talk to Pete Torgerson from New England. Two of the teams that most people actually picked to play in the Super Bowl this year on February 1st. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the NRadio.com TV network. Coming right back.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Russ Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the. But if you have this bracelet from nradio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show. You may recall our next guest is one of the founders of the successful FireJohnIdzik.com movement that had probably a major hand in Woody Johnson making the decision to fire the embattled Jets general manager along with head coach Rex Ryan. What you may not know is that he's relocated to Seattle, the home of the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks, and is here to tell us today about what's going on in the land of Starbucks and grunge rock. Please welcome to the show, Greg Kohler. We need the applause now is what we need, right? All right. Hey, Greg.
How's it going, guys?
All right, man. How's it going with you? First of all, congratulations. I wouldn't say congratulations because we don't really know.
Well, I think we should say, I was thinking about this, mission accomplished,
mission
right?
accomplished. There you go.
You'd have a banner, mission accomplished.
That's the appropriate verbiage here.
There you go.
For sure.
You know what the problem with this, the major problem with this whole thing is, though? Now that this has worked,
Yeah.
every stupid person in this world that's got money is going to try to get somebody fired the same way.
Well, you guys didn't have money, right? I mean, you took up, it was really a grassroots movement.
Right.
You know, you got people to donate to this cause.
But there already is somebody, I think, that is doing something to get rid of the guy on the Madison Square Garden guy.
Yeah.
You know. But
well, there's three. It's funny. We did raise all the money. We had no money going into this,
Right.
of course. But yeah, there are three. There's actually someone just putting up a billboard for the Wilpons to sell the Mets.
the Wilpons,
He
yeah.
just raised $5,000. The Red Bull soccer team, they
Yes.
are raising money right now to put up a billboard to skewer the GM of that team for firing the head coach. And as we know, the NYPD have been flying planes with banners over New York City for their displeasure of de Blasio. So they're copycats everywhere.
So you guys are trendsetters, I guess, is what you are, really.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. At the same time, it's kind of scary though.
Yeah.
People are just going to knee jerk and go off doing this kind of thing. You know, I don't.
Well, listen, you
I don't
guys
think
were
that's great either.
You
so.
guys are now the pioneers. so.
Right.
Let's talk about football, and let's talk about your Seattle Seahawks. What's going on there? Does everybody think that this is a repeat team?
Definitely. Everyone out here is pretty supremely confident, and they have every right to be. They look great. They're very healthy. I think this is the healthiest the team has been all season. They look like a juggernaut again going into the playoffs. I would like to caution everyone though. Their last, they went on a 6-game winning streak
Right.
to end the season. Who did they beat? What quarterbacks did they play?
But
what was so impressive about it, right?
Well, you know what?
I don't
The
know.
only thing that really impressed me is that this team has always been built around their defense.
Yeah.
Every championship team has a great defense. And during those 6 games, they allowed just 39 points in 6 games.
Well, like I say, you got to put a little asterisk on it about the level of the competition, but they still have an impressive defense, and built by I guess Dan Quinn, who was now in the. It's kind of ironic that they're thinking about him being he's supposed to be the top choice for the Jets for a head coach.
Well, I think, by the way, Greg, I think that you might have been behind this whole thing. Yeah. Knowing that maybe they'll get Dan Quinn as the new coach.
Well, I just want to caution everyone here. I don't think Dan Quinn, I mean, I don't know if I'm really for or against him coming here. I don't know if it really makes, I don't know. I don't really have to feel the candidates. But Seattle's defense is built around their personnel, not their scheme. And Dan Quinn isn't a schemer. He's not an X and O guy. It doesn't matter who's coaching this defense.
Right.
They are great.
I agree with you. You know, and I guess you think about why things didn't work out with John Idzik. He was not a good talent evaluator. You know, and I think that's what we need in our new GM is that.
Right.
You know.
Yes. And that to me is more concerning is the players that we're assembling to put on the team. Not so much, although obviously the head coach is a real key cog in the whole wheel here. But, you know, we didn't really think Rex was the problem.
Yeah.
He had no offense. You know, the years that and we've talked about this before, the years that we went to those AFC championship games, we didn't go because we had John Elway as our quarterback.
That's right.
You know, we went because we had a great defense that put the offense in position to be, you know, all they had to do was not turn over the ball.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. That's exactly right. And when Mark Sanchez turned into a turnover machine, which he eventually began doing in Philadelphia this year, that's when things started to break down.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And we had a strong running game. And
right, exactly.
Remember, the Seahawks have their MVP of that team. You watch that team over the last 3 years, Marshawn Lynch. That team goes and dies by Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
It's not Russell Wilson. It's no one else. He is the most important player on
Well, you
that
know,
team.
the year that they went to the Super Bowl, the 2006 game, Seattle.
Yeah.
The 2006 game, they had Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander, he was the MVP. You know, and they played Carolina in the NFC Championship.
That's so far in the past, it's irrelevant.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, like just saying what Greg is saying about the importance of a running game in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, you can say that about any team, really.
Which we probably will when we go through all the other games.
So,
Russell Wilson gets a lot of accolades, and you know he does make plays when he needs to. But I can't stress enough. You take Marshawn Lynch off that team, they're an 8-18. I'm not kidding you. Like Russell Wilson cannot do it on his own.
Pete Carroll gave Russell Wilson quite an endorsement. I guess you know he didn't make the Pro Bowl selection, and Pete Carroll said, "I don't understand why he didn't make it. All he does is win. Yeah. You know." He's not that sexy guy. Doesn't have the great arm. You know, there are better running quarterbacks than him, but he finds a way to always have his team win the game.
All right, so Greg, coming down to the wire here, what do you think? Are we having you on next week to talk about the NFC Championship game?
100%. I don't give Carolina any chance. I don't know if you guys watched that Cardinal game.
Yeah.
That wasn't a playoff game. That was like a Week 3, like miserable, horrible football game. I don't give Carolina a 20-point chance.
I think. I think you're right.
I mean,
you're taking the points, and you know what? I believe it's the. I believe it might be the highest point spread of all the games.
Probably
it
is.
Should be.
Yeah, it's 11.5.
I mean, you know, this is a team that's now only 8-8. You know, after winning last week, so
there's probably not going to be any real drama, hopefully for you guys. But shall we find out what the Stone says?
Let's do that.
Sammy Stone.
That's right.
Tell me the future.
Okay, ask me.
Will Seattle beat Carolina?
That ain't gonna happen.
Oh.
Wow.
Check his urine. Check his urine, man. That's all I can say.
Well, listen, let me tell you, the Stone, I believe, got 3 out of 4 right last week.
So did I.
Wow.
I only got 2 right
There we
last
go.
week.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Greg-
I better change my money line on this then.
Great talking to you there, Greg. And like I say, hopefully Seattle will win, and we'll get you on the show again next week. Okay.
And,
Yeah, that's
and
great,
again,
guys. Thanks for
congratulations
having me.
on.
Appreciate it.
and again, yeah, go ahead.
Congratulations on mission accomplished there with the Fire John Izig movement.
Right.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
send our wishes to the other boys.
All right.
Yeah, we will for sure. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Greg.
All righty,
Have a
man.
good week. Bye.
All righty. So we have another guest.
Is he on the phone already?
Is he on there? Okay.
Wow,
Well,
Pete.
there are very few people that need no introduction here on this program, and this man is one of them. So should we introduce him? All right. His insights on baseball and hockey have been legendary, and he's truly one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But he does have a flaw. Nobody's perfect. Please welcome Mr. New England, Pete Torgerson. Pete, how are you?
Torgy.
What's happening, guys?
Hey, how are you? First of all, are you going to the game today?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm waiting for next week. That's how confident I am.
Oh,
Well, you want to know? You want to laugh? Okay, my son, is a well-chronicled New England Patriot fan.
Yes.
And last year he went to one of the playoff games last year with his friend John. So I said to him, "What's the matter? You're not going to go to the game?" He said, "I'm waiting for the AFC Championship."
I see.
game."
There you go.
Well,
We're a confident group up
yeah,
here.
like I say, you're pretty confident, man. We talked about checking Stammy Stone's urine. We have to check your urine soon, too, man. I don't know.
How about Flacco shows up with the fur around his collar yesterday? He looked like he was going to a ball or something. He didn't look like he was ready for a football game.
He looked
Brady's
like
already got
Joe
his scuba suit on. He's ready to go. So.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this game, though. I mean, it's really got all the potential of just being a real, knockdown, drag-out fight.
But the thing is, I have a guy who works with me. He's from Baltimore.
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? He says, you could say whatever you want about New England and Baltimore. He says, but we own New England in the playoffs. That's what he said.
do.
Wow.
That's what he
You know
said.
what? He's not far off, though. It's crazy.
How
about Flacco's record in the playoffs? It's crazy.
Flacco's unbelievable. I got it here. I wanted to tell you, okay? He has 7 road playoff wins.
Yeah.
And he's won 6 of his last 7 playoff games, 17 touchdowns, and 1 interception in his last 7 playoff games. That's
Clutch.
that's
He's the
unbelievable.
new Terry
And,
Bradshaw.
and again, I know the other time when we were talking to Greg Kohler, we were talking about the 2006 game, and I know how far in the past that is.
Yeah.
But they've played New England and Baltimore played 3 times since 2010.
Yep.
Okay, and
Baltimore
Baltimore
won
routed
2
them
out of them.
twice.
Yep.
And the third game was the one, if you remember, the guy dropped the touchdown pass.
Yes.
At the end, and then they missed a 23-yard, a 32-yard field goal. They missed with 11 seconds left. So I don't know. What is it about them? Do they just know how to play against them? And all 3 of them were in New England. All 3 of those games were in New England.
Right. Yeah, it concerns me. I'll leave it at that. But I think the Patriots, it seems like they got their mojo this year. They didn't play everybody against Buffalo in the last game of the season, so don't even count that one. I think the last 8 weeks, 10 weeks, they've been playing great.
Yeah.
So I think they're on a nice roll. I'm looking for a big win today. I think we're going to shut them down. We got this guy from, I don't know if you ever heard of him, Revis.
Yeah, we'd be having fun.
You know what? Is he that? He's got that same name as the guy that used to play on the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it might be his cousin or something. But what they've been saying all week up here is Flacco just throws these balls up in the air. He sort of lofts them up there and hopes somebody for pass interference. He's not singing them in there like Brady does. So that's the big theory up here this week. But that's neither here nor there.
Might come down to the tight end, man. It might come down to Greg Olsen.
What's that?
Might come down to the tight end.
Yeah, and I think we got it there with the big Gronk.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a very close game, though.
Well, I got to
really
tell
do.
you, since 2000,
Yeah.
New England has the most wins of any team in the playoffs. They're 18-8. You know who's second?
Probably Baltimore.
Baltimore. Baltimore's got 15 wins.
Yeah.
Since then.
Right.
You know, so this
And
is going to be
there's some statistic that Flacco is over Brady on. I don't know if it's in the last 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is. He's got him beaten one statistic. Their quarterback ratings are right about the same. They're like 3 points off or 4 points off of each other in the last 5 or 6 years or so. So if I'm making a pick, if I have the first pick, I'm taking Brady. But you can't argue with Flacco's success in the playoffs.
No,
he's legit.
You know, and let's just talk about Brady for a second. Belichick has 19 playoff wins, 19 wins as a coach. Right?
Okay.
18 of them with Brady as his
Right.
quarterback. He's 1 win away from Tom Landry. Tom Landry.
Who was
has
his other
20.
one with Bernie Kosar?
Yeah, it must have been.
With Cleveland, I guess, probably.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Didn't he win a playoff game when Brady was hurt? Or did he come back for the playoff?
The first one in 2004, Bledsoe
Might have
was-
been Bledsoe. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So at any rate, he's one of the great coaches of all time.
No doubt.
You know, and I don't know.
We said we were going to talk about Brady, and you talked about Belichick being the greatest coach of all
Yeah,
time.
well-
So.
And you know what it
But
was?
it's
It was
because of Brady.
Okay.
It's because of Brady. You
Well,
know
that's
what I mean?
true.
It
That's
was
been
the first Super Bowl when Bledsoe was hurt. He came back and started the Pittsburgh game
Okay.
that got him to the Super Bowl. Remember we had the quarterback
Right.
controversy there a little bit. Who are we going to start in the Super Bowl?
Right. But it's just that it just seems that for some reason Baltimore's got Brady's number.
Well,
For whatever reason.
we have to cut to the chase here, I guess. So let's talk about Pete. So you're going with New England this weekend, obviously. You know, you're already planning next week's game.
Yes.
Going to next week's game. But so they're number 1 seed, I guess. Then, right?
They are the number 1
Okay,
seed.
so I mean, so if they get another home game, I mean, if they advance, it'll be in New England. Okay.
Against Baltimore, because Baltimore's knocking off Denver today.
No,
you
Indianapolis
mean,
is not going to
Indianapolis.
Denver. You said
I mean,
Baltimore. That was a
that's
Freudian
Colts.
slip there, my
See how
friend.
old I am? I'm thinking Colts. I'm thinking Baltimore.
Yeah, I think you're right. Baltimore is going to win today, my friend.
Oh, Jesus. I just think
Well, we
myself.
hope, Pete. You want us to go
Well,
back
I
and
can't
listen to
hear
the
that.
tape
We have
or
a
what?
bad connection. We have a bad connection. I can't hear you.
I am going with Baltimore, though. I think that, well, they obviously have a chance of winning this game, so I'm going with them. We'll see.
I think I also think I'm going to go with Baltimore only because I can't root for them. I
Yeah,
just can't. It's like the Yankees.
Yep.
I can't root for the Yankees.
There you go.
But although if there's any organization that I don't like more than New England, it's Baltimore. They're a bunch of thugs,
Yeah.
and they have a statue for a murderer outside there.
Yeah, if
See-
you're going head to head, we have one murderer, they have
Yeah,
one murderer.
that's
so
true.
But at least your murderer you cut immediately.
Yeah.
And you gave the fans the ability to go back and change their jerseys.
And he's lovable. He's a lovable murderer, you know? I don't know.
All righty, let's find out what the Stone has to say. Sammy
I
Stone.
don't want my shades.
Sammy Stone.
Brightness here.
Sammy Stone.
You got him.
Tell me the future.
Okay, ask me.
Will New England beat Baltimore today?
Come on, Sammy.
Maybe, maybe not.
Oh, that's a cop-out answer. Sammy Stone.
Good guess.
Tell me the future.
You just gotta ask.
Will New England beat Baltimore today?
I'm thinking, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
Sammy.
So the Stone is on your side. May the
Awesome.
Stone be with you.
All right.
Hey, not to change the subject, how about those first place Islanders?
Unbelievable.
I'm watching the score last night. It was, 2-0, 2-1?
Yeah.
And then I go back, they win in overtime. Did you see the play Tavares made to win the game?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Excellent
He
play.
stole the
Right
puck.
off the bench, too.
Right, he
just
came off
right
the bench. Right,
Went
came
right
off
to
the
corner.
bench, stole the puck, put it in a great spot. It's just a great team. They're just playing very well, and you know it's not like they're winning every single game, which I
No.
think is important. You know they're.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be. It's not like they're getting lucky breaks. They're working hard.
The most disappointing thing I read though is that they're going with that fisherman jersey in a few weeks at a home game.
Oh, Jesus,
only
that's
during
the
only
end of
during
it.
warm-ups. Though.
oh,
It's
only
not during the
warm-ups?
game.
Okay, that's good. All right, Pete. So
They probably have a box of them in the locker room that they got to get rid of.
All righty, Pete. So if they win, we'll come back to you next week.
Sounds like a plan. Tuesday night, Rangers Islanders. That's going to be
that should be a good one too.
Oh, in Madison Square Garden,
Yep.
right? Are you
That's
going to be
right.
around here anywhere, Pete?
Yeah, I'm down Monday.
Oh,
You
maybe
guys are around.
maybe I'll meet you. We'll watch it in Champs.
Yeah, we could do that.
All
All
right,
right,
man.
sounds good, Pete.
I'll call you guys on Monday.
Okay,
Sounds
thanks,
good.
Pete.
Bye-bye.
All right, great job, guys. Thank you.
All right, that is our good pal Pete Torgerson. Unfortunately, he's a New England fan. Do we let him off the hook for that?
Yeah, we have to. We have to.
All righty, we're going to take another break here at the Glory Days Show, and when we get back, we'll have a few stories, or maybe just 2 stories.
Well, one.
Maybe one. We'll do something about our Did You Hear About segment. You watch the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco only on the InRadio.com TV network. We're coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
What's up, guys? We're Scared on Square, and we're here with InRavio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit them up online.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the InRavio.com TV network. Let's take a break from the NFL.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk a little bit basketball, shall we?
Basketball, yeah. Those
segue,
horrible Knicks.
Yeah, we segue into our Did You Hear About segment.
Yep.
I just love that. Alrighty. On January 7th on 2014, Knick fan Anthony Rotundi.
2014? Last year?
Yeah, last year.
I see.
So he was sitting a couple rows off the court at Madison Square Garden during their 89-85 win over Detroit. And he's with his boss and a couple of clients. Right?
Okay.
During the game, he was yelling things to Carmelo Anthony.
To him or at him? I guess at him.
At him, I guess, okay? A 20-year season ticket holder, Howard Luber, who was sitting a few rows in front of Rotundi, alerted security to Rotundi's behavior. So this is what the guy says. He says, I heard him for a few minutes screaming, Carmelo, you suck. And then he said, F you, Carmelo. A guy is allowed to voice his opinion, but it comes to a point where you cross the line. I've never seen in 20 years somebody heckle a Knicks player like that. Okay? So MSG Security decided to remove Rotundi from his seat, and he was arrested and charged with tampering with a sports contest in the 2nd degree.
I had no idea there was a 1st degree.
I didn't know there were degrees. And then criminal trespass in the 3rd degree.
I see.
Okay. But to make matters worse, MSG then contacted his employer, ING Financial Services. They were the owner of the season ticket.
Okay.
And informed them that Rotundi was disorderly, used vulgar and abusive language, and refused to produce his ticket. And he was abusive with Garden security. ING then decided to terminate Rotundi, which kind of interesting. And of course, he filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court. And want to know what his attorney said?
Well, I'd like to know what he's suing about. Yeah.
Well, he said they unfairly targeted him and
Okay.
had him arrested, then made it worse by contacting his employer. MSG was a bully. And they need to pay for their actions. Well, who's getting paid?
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, MSG said they reviewed the security tapes and that the lawsuit was just completely frivolous.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous lawsuit.
A Garden spokesman said, we do not welcome anyone into the building who behaves in an inappropriate and hostile manner. And those who behave that way are subject to ejection.
I suppose there's something on the ticket that probably says you can't do that either,
Yeah,
right?
well, I think, but I know as a fan,
Yeah.
I have voiced my opinion.
Sure, we all
at
have.
separate times during the games,
Yeah.
and maybe used vulgar language
Yeah.
during the course of games. And I just think that that's part of the fan experience of being at the game.
Yeah.
The ability to yell at the players.
But, it does cross a line. I mean, there's a reason why they have, family-friendly sections, I think, now in places. and
Yes,
things like that.
and
You don't
I buy
expect,
that.
so you don't expect to be, inundated or, peppered with, insensitive comments. Especially some of them are vulgar, I think.
But the question is, did they cross the line, MSG? By
For what?
contacting his employer.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Agreed.
I mean, you represent, whether you want to admit it or not, you took the tickets from the company, okay? So you're representing the company, okay? If that's the way you want your company represented, that's fine. But I think, MSG thought that these people hadn't had a need to know that, and they let them know that. They didn't fire him. MSG didn't fire him.
No.
The company fired him. Because, they got some information that, like I say, if you're using tickets, you're representing that organization, and I think he crossed the line.
Okay. As a side note.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am wrong.
No. During a Knick Net game, a guy named, what's his name? I might have it here. Jeffrey Vanchiero.
Vanchiero.
He's a disabled guy.
Okay.
He was ejected from Madison Square Garden without his prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
And video went viral.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a Net fan. He was actually, the Nets used to call him their super fan.
Okay.
Okay. But his fiance said that he was a completely different person
After
the incident.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately for the Nets, who could use as many super fans as they can, the 38-year-old died last month after jumping out of a second-story window.
Guess he took that he thought it was Superman.
Maybe
I don't know.
I guess there's a season ticket holder. What happens to his ticket now?
Well, yeah.
As far as the Nets. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on at Madison Square Garden, especially leading into this next story.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So Knicks president Phil Jackson. The team has been playing terribly, so he pulled the trigger on a trade Monday, sending J.R. Smith and Ian Shumpert to Cleveland in a 3-team deal with Oklahoma City. But the only thing this move did was created about $25 million in cap room for the Knicks in the summer of 2015. In return, the Knicks got a second-round player in 2019 and 3 players who have already been released by the team.
They already released them.
That's great.
They just got them and released them.
Yeah. So Jackson said, our desire is to improve our ability to compete. These transactions improve our flexibility to the current roster and the salary cap for future seasons. Coach Derek Fisher thinks the team has shed its win now mindset, no fooling, okay, to build towards the future. He said, quote, I think we have to be honest with our guys about what has just happened and what it symbolizes and what it means to us. In other words, we're playing out the string. This doesn't mean we're giving up on them and what we are trying to become. But it just about solidifies the fact that they're trying to build something that's going to last and not squeeze out a win or two here or there, end quote.
I thought, I was thinking about that, and I said, it's an interesting thing where, you say you're not just trying to squeeze out a win here and there just to make somebody happy.
Yeah.
And then again, I didn't pay $8,000 for a season ticket. I'm just watching it on TV.
Yeah. I don't know, I think it's a really tough situation to be in with a team that's that bad. You have to play every night. I was checking to see if Rocky ever played in a bad team, and it doesn't look like he did. It looks like the worst record they had was 6-9 in '87.
Right.
And then 7-9 2 other seasons or whatever. 'Cause I can't imagine what it's got to be like. I mean, you probably played in a baseball team that sucked, right?
Oh, yeah, most of our baseball teams
in Little
suck.
League, and it's like, but when you win that one game, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
But if you're a professional athlete,
Well,
that's a
look
whole
at,
different thing.
Look at, I think it was yesterday or the night before,
Yeah.
the Nets lost to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia
76ers, right?
Yeah.
They're one of the other teams in the league that only have 5 wins. Philadelphia they were jumping up and
Like
down
they won the NBA championship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So the Knicks have squeezed out a team 5 wins. Is all they got this season.
Right.
If you recall last season, J.R. Smith, that was one of these guys that was traded, was fined $50,000 for untying opponent's shoelaces. And it turns out now this guy, he got traded to the team. He's now a teammate of his.
Sean Marion.
Yeah. Well, and he really thought it was a joke, is what he thought it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess people take things a little too seriously, I guess.
Yeah, he said, he was saying that it's a joke. They knew the players knew he was kidding.
Sure.
But the league kind of lost their mind
I mean,
over it.
yeah, exactly.
Do you remember seeing it?
I do. I mean, does he think does he think anybody's not going to detect what's going on there? I mean,
he's just standing
He
at the
was a
free throw line,
comedian.
and he's reaching down like he's stretching, and he's untying the guy's shot. I thought it was funny. I got a kick out of it. Yeah, he was. You know what it was? He's a character.
Yeah, he is.
He
is.
There are no characters on the Knicks anymore, which is probably why they're.
I don't know if you need to have characters in your team to win, though. I really
But I think
don't.
that's one of the. I mean, let's face it. They've lost they've lost their franchise. They've lost a franchise record, 14 straight games.
Yeah.
Now, so.
Well, all I can say is let's look forward to next year if you're a Knicks fan. That's all you can say.
All righty. What do you say we
Wrap it up.
take another break?
Okay.
We got to get one more break before the end. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we will wrap things up. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Radio.com TV network. We are coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
All right, welcome back to the very chaotic Glory Day show this week. We had a lot of guests this week. Things we missed, things we didn't talk about. We forgot all about the other two.
We talked about the NFL.
playoff
We can
games.
talk about tomorrow's games.
Right. Now, tomorrow, the 1 o'clock game is probably we talked about the Baltimore-New England game being a great game on the schedule. Green Bay and Dallas tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a storied rival.
It is.
You know?
I guess you got to go back to the Ice Bowl.
Right, exactly.
But, Aaron Rodgers is, I think, a little more hurt than they're letting on.
Yeah, well, exactly. What they say, he's got a
He's got
torn calf or something?
Yeah, something like that. So
What do you think? What happens if he doesn't play?
No, I think he'll play, but I think he's going to be limited. I really do. So I think Dallas is going to win that game.
They haven't met in the playoffs since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
But Green Bay has beaten them 4 out of the 6 times they did play in the playoffs, including that Ice Bowl. I don't know what the kickoff's going to be like tomorrow in Green Bay.
Yeah.
But during the Ice Bowl, it was minus 13.
No, it's not going to. It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be that cold. I mean, that was unusually cold.
It was minus 13, and with the wind chill, it was minus 42 degrees at kickoff. I said, that's amazing. So, all right, let's talk about Dallas real fast.
They sneaked by last week by a flag that gets picked up.
Right.
Which
was ridiculous.
It is. It is. I mean, they really shouldn't be even playing. So they're playing with house money, and it's the way. I think that's the way they're looking at it. And again, with Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers being nicked up a little bit, I really think Dallas is going to win this game.
Now, DeMarco Murray, he leads the league in rushing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's going to, you got to have the ball. You got to be able to run the ball when you've got a game that's that cold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tony Romo in his last 5 games has 14 touchdowns and only 1 interception. And on the road this year, it's a very strange statistic. Green Bay is 8-0 at home, and Dallas is 8-0 on the road.
Something's going to give.
So something's got to give.
So who do you like?
Tough one. Governor Chris Christie will probably be there.
Yeah. So you go with Dallas too.
You know what? I can't think that Tony Romo's going to do it. I'm going to go Green Bay.
Right.
Home teams in the playoffs usually do fairly well.
Yeah.
Although this is a different story. Rodgers does not play well in the playoffs at home anyway. So.
Now we got the other game. It's Indianapolis at Denver, and I tell you, Peyton Manning's has looked kind of ordinary lately, but I still think that he's got a rabbit to pull out of the hat, and I think they're going to win that game.
Yeah, and both times, Peyton Manning's Indianapolis Colts beat Denver twice in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, wait, we're getting out of here.
Yes,
we're running out of time. Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick and Ken Nilsson, and of course the lovely and talented Bonnie Schultz. Thanks to our guest today. That shouldn't be on there.
It was
I
not
forgot
John
to change it.
Puccio. That was
That was
last
last
week.
week.
Okay.
So who do we have today?
We had Greg Kohler.
Greg Kohler, Pete Torgerson, and
And
of course Rocky Cleveland.
Yes.
Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, putting up with this nonsense week after week and now year after year. And I guess we'll see you next week.
Okay. Thanks to you, our loyal listeners. We have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Was that less than 30 seconds? Was that what happened? Or?
InRavio.com.